of last night behind. And I need to get some peace of mind. And when I need some peace of mind, I know where to find it. It's by the end of the road. So I walk and I keep on walking. Though the shoes I wear are a mess. As I walk and I keep on walking till I'm at the end of the road.
Blue, blue is my truck. Sometimes it gets stuck. Wah! Push and pull. Hurry up, get my store. Wah! Once it's out, I start to bounce. Up and down, make a sound. Wow! We go left, we go right. Both hands to the sky. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. There's nothing my trunk can't do. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Bring yours too. Wah!
Living Pain here. Hope all is well. Well, some good news, at least to me, is I did my workout early this morning. So maybe the weather's changing, I don't know, but I have to get up and work out at 9 o'clock. I don't have to, but there's this yoga, gravity yoga, opening your hips. And the guy does it live at 9 o'clock. I was mentioning it yesterday, 9 a.m. Sounds like the guy lives in the US. He's got this coolest voice. I love his voice. And I guess he travels around the world. And he's now, I don't know where he is, somewhere in Asia or whatever. And he comes online and does 15 minutes with us. And there's 3 exercises or 3 poses. And they each last for about 5 minutes. And you'd be surprised. And they use gravity the idea is gravity opens it all up and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, it must be working because when I try to stand up after doing it, I definitely feel my hips are, opened and gotten a good stretch, and it takes a while for things to get back in. He was also mentioning on there that, if we're on our 3rd day today, so if you're feeling like it's hurting you or, throughout the day, blah, 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 take a couple days off. And I was sitting there thinking, geez, it's not even close to bothering me at this point. And I thought, you know what, maybe it's because you're on day 312 of working out almost every day. And actually I started before that, so it's probably more like day 315. And had you started this program back 315 days ago, it may really be hurting you. So anyway, to me that's a win that I'm not yet hurting. But then watch, tomorrow he'll do something and I'll be on the video and crying my little eyes out that my hips hurt. Right after that, I got on the bike and I did 2 things today. I broke the bike ride up into 2 sessions, and I'll tell you why. So I get on the bike and I'm feeling really good, and I think part of it is because I didn't do any leg work yesterday, did the weights. And then who knows, maybe this hip opening's working, but I ended up doing, averaging like 222 watts at 33.5 kilometers an hour. Fairly flat, but still respectable. And what was the highlight of my ride was there's like this 20-minute or 20-second time trial, and you've probably already saw it on the video. And I think, and I haven't looked, so the numbers I pick, go by what's on the video, not what I remember. I think I was like 54th or 56th out of like 14 or 1500 people. So my time was 56th fastest. So when I look at that, I don't know, what's that, 4%, that I beat 97% of the people out there, which is good. It means I'm starting to get my legs back. And what I did was, the reason I broke it into 2 sessions was I was like, dude, I'm just so competitive, right? And when I see that average speed and everything, I would just keep going. I'm like, dude, you need to stop training at non-low heart rate. Like I'm not doing it. It's very flattering in a way that my times are faster, but if I'm really wanting to get into really good shape and get fast and strong and all that, which I know how to do that, I've spent so much time doing that, the key is low heart rate training. So keeping your heart rate, for me it would be 180 less my age plus 5 beats. So 180 less 55, which is 125 plus 5 beats. About 130 beats is where I want to do all of my training, other than speed work and stuff like that. But to build a really great base, 130 beats. So when I do, my ride and I'm killing it, I know I'm not at 130 beats. So I stopped it at 30 minutes, and then I got back on the bike and did some easy spinning at low heart rate. Now the issue is that I messed myself up, because the minute that you start doing high heart rate training and I know this sounds crazy, but it's true, is as you're extending and you go into, above your aerobic threshold, it turns off your fat burning system for at least 24 hours. And that's why a lot of people don't realize when you go out for a run or whatever, a lot of people try to pull the Rocky thing. They'll run, jog, and then the last, half a mile, they'll just give it all they have and pretend they're Rocky. And what happens is it just messes you up because your fat burning system starts shutting down. And what you really want to do, the low heart rate training, what it does is it conditions your body and trains your body to get its energy from fat. And there's enough fat in all of our bodies that we could run from here to the West Coast. And when you, so that's the big thing, and that's the big secret to endurance sports. And if you talk to any of the pros, you'll find probably a good 80-90% of all their training is at low heart rate training. Trust me, it works. I remember training the best year I had, and I qualified for Kona. I think I was 44, 45 years old. And again, I trained low heart rate. My coach, Mark Allen, who's won like 6 Ironman triathlons, he's in the Hall of Fame. He was coaching me. I was on his coaching program. And he was the guy that introduced me to low heart rate training. And so the result of it, just to give you perspective, is when I did Lake Placid, and I got off the bike, and again, all of my training was low heart rate, which was 180 less my age plus 5 beats. So when I was 45, 180 would have been about 140 was my max. So I did all my training at under 140 beats a minute. And so when I did that race, got off the bike and then got onto the marathon, I ended up running the full marathon at I didn't exceed 135 beats. So I kept my heart rate the entire marathon at 135. And I think I did a 3:35 marathon. So coming off the bike, a 112 mile bike and a 2.4 mile swim, and then getting onto the run, for the entire run, my heart rate, because I was so conditioned to do low heart rate training, I managed to do a 3:35 marathon, which is pretty respectable as a marathon. One thing, I'm just going to expand on that because people may have some questions, is when you first start in low heart rate training, it's very put your ego at the door, because what happens is you're going to end up, let's use running as an example, and I'll go through a little bit what happened to me when I decided to get back into shape. I think or back into Ironman. I did Ironmans when I was in my late teens, early 20s. Then I took a 16-year hiatus. And then I got back into it. I think it was 41, 42. And so I started, going with low heart rate training. And it's very, you have to check your ego, because what happens is, and it's going to happen to me now that it's going to happen to me, is that you'd be surprised at when you're training at a low heart rate to keep your heart rate down, using running as an example, you'll end up spending a lot of your time walking. So as soon as, I'm running and my heart rate gets over 130, then I'll start walking. And when I first started, way back when I was 42, old ladies are passing you. You don't want your neighbors to see you because you are walking all the time. I would go on a run that could be 5, maybe 10 kilometers, and I'd walk 20 to 40 times just to keep the heart rate low. And the one great thing about low heart rate training as well is it's hard to get injured on low heart rate training. Mind you, I've been injured like crazy. But because when you start doing low heart rate training, you'll get back home and you'll say to yourself, did I just work out? I don't feel like I did anything. And what happens with low heart rate training is you'll start slow, you'll walk 20, 30, 40 times on a run, and you'll think you're getting no benefit. but you have to give it like a few months, not like a few weeks, a few months. And what will happen slowly is you'll be running at the same heart rate, so not exceeding, let's say 140, but at 140 in the beginning, let's say you were running a 12-minute mile at 140, which is probably what I was doing. And then as you continue it, what happens is your body gets so much more efficient that at the same heart rate, your times go down, 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 and get faster, faster, faster. So when I first started, realistically, I was probably a 10, 12-minute mile. And then doing it, I did it consistently at that point, it was probably for about 2.5 years. But I had it down to, like I say, when I did that marathon, it was 135. And I think the pace on that is an 8-minute mile for 5-minute kilometer and an 8-minute mile. Anyway, it's the reason I'm saying it is because I need to check my ego at the door, get on the bike, not look at these wattages, not care about guys passing me, and I need to get my act together and start getting back into low heart rate training. And so I know my foot is, I would say, a 2 out of 10 for pain. So I think even as early as tomorrow, I could try a run. We'll see. I've been using as you saw, that little power massager on my legs, and everything feels pretty good. So either I'm going to do Insanity tomorrow and give it one more day on my leg, or I may go for a run tomorrow. And either way, if I go for a run, I'm going to do low heart rate training, and you're going to see some really slow times, I'm sure, if you see me on my run. Food-wise, as you saw, I weighed in today at 203, and which, man, I'm working my ass off, not eating, keeping the calories down, exercising, training, and I'm not seeing the weight loss that I want to see. The body is getting firmer, which I understand muscle outweighs fat and all that sort of stuff, although it is a little, disappointing. You want to be able, like, I'm so hungry to want to see it down under that 200. I figured it'd be under 200 by now, but it's just not the case. And yeah, so as things are going right now, basically feels like Groundhog Day. Every day's the same. I'm eating, and as you see, if you watch the videos, it's like, and I edit them, so I see it and I'm like, dude, it's like Groundhog Day, Groundhog Day, Groundhog Day. The only difference is that I'm wearing different clothes. And if you don't know what the reference to Groundhog Day is, watch the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. Every day repeats itself. So that's how I feel. Every day is repeating itself, and it's Groundhog Day. Anyway, that's it for me. Over and out. Living Pain. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.